Domestic violence and abuse can happen to anyone, yet the problem is often overlooked, excused, or denied. Noticing and acknowledging the signs of abuse is the first step to ending it.
Sexual assault is any type of sexual contact or behavior that occurs without the explicit consent of the recipient, such as forced sexual intercourse, forcible sodomy, child molestation, incest, fondling, and attempted rape. Sexual assault can be verbal, visual, or anything that forces a person to join in unwanted sexual contact or attention. Examples of this are voyeurism, exhibitionism, incest, and sexual harassment. It can happen in different situations, in the home by someone you know, on a date, or by a stranger in an isolated place. Rape is a common form of sexual assault. It is committed in many situations, on a date, by a friend, or an acquaintance, or when you think you are alone. Rape and sexual assault are never the victim's fault, no matter where or how it happens. If you or someone else has been sexually assaulted, get away from the attacker to a safe place as fast as you can. Then call 911 or the police. Call a friend or family member you trust. You can also call a crisis center or a hotline to talk with a counselor. Do not wash, comb, or clean any part of your body. Do not change clothes if possible, so the hospital staff can collect evidence. Do not touch or change anything at the scene of the assault. Go to your nearest hospital emergency room as soon as possible. While you are at the hospital, if you decide you want to file a police report, you or the hospital staff can call the police from the emergency room. Ask the hospital staff to connect you with the local rape crisis center. The center staff can help you make choices about reporting the attack and getting help through counseling and support groups. Remember, rape and sexual assault are never the victim's fault, no matter where or how it happens.
Dating violence committed by a person who is or has been in a social relationship of a romantic or intimate nature with the victim, and where the existence from such a relationship will be determined based on the length of a relationship, the type of relationship, and the frequency of the interaction between the persons involved in the relationship. Brenda and Frank have recently started dating. Her friends all tell her how lucky she is to have a boyfriend considering she is so busy with her graduate school. At first, Brenda thought it was sweet that Frank began calling her all the time. He always wants to know whom she's with, where she is, and when she'll be home. He has told her she was meant to be with him and him only forever. Recently, Frank has started belittling her in front of his friends, insulting her, and telling her she is fat. He doesn't want her to spend time with certain friends. He thinks they are a bad influence. He threatens to break up with her if she won't do what he says, and that no one else will ever want her. Brenda wants to make Frank happy. In fact, she'll do anything to keep her boyfriend. She thinks this is what being in a relationship is all about. No one should live in fear of the person they love. If you recognize yourself or someone you know in a similar relationship as Brenda, reach out. There is help available.
Domestic violence includes crimes by current or former spouse of a victim, by a person with whom the victim shares a child in common, or by a person who is cohabitating with or has cohabitated with the victim as a spouse. Domestic violence can also be committed by a person similarly situated to a spouse of a victim or an adult or youth victim under the domestic or family violence laws. Domestic violence can be physical, sexual, emotional, economic, or psychological actions or threats of actions that influence another person. This includes any behaviors that intimidate, manipulate, humiliate, isolate, frighten, coerce, threaten, blame, hurt, injure, and wound someone.
Stalking is engaging in a course or conduct directed at a specific person that may cause a reasonable person to fear for his or her safety or the safety of others, or to suffer substantial emotional distress. A man meets a woman through a group class project. The group members exchange phone numbers and the woman calls the man. At first it is for help with assignments. As the semester goes on, she asks him out again and again refusing to take no for an answer. He tells her repeatedly that he has no romantic interest in her, but she persists in her unwanted behavior. She calls him many times despite his request that she leave him alone. During class, she watches him and tells him not to talk to other group members because she can't stand to see him talking to other people. If I ever see you with someone else, I don't know what I'll do, she threatens him. If the behavior is persistent and clearly unwanted, causing you fear, harassment, or anxiety, then it is stalking and you should not have to live with it.
Consent is words or actions that show an active knowing and voluntary agreement to engage in mutually agreed upon sexual activity. Consent cannot be gained by force, by ignoring or acting without regard to the objectives of another, or by taking advantage of the incapacitation of another where the student knows or reasonably should have known of such incapacity. Use of alcohol or drugs may impair an individual's capacity to freely consent and may render an individual incapable of giving consent. Consent is absent when the activity in question exceeds the scope of previously given consent.
There are things you can do to reduce your chances of being sexually assaulted. Be aware of your surroundings, who's out there and what's going on. Walk with confidence. The more confident you look, the stronger you appear. Know your limits when it comes to using alcohol. Be assertive. Don't let anyone violate your space. Trust your instincts. If you feel uncomfortable in your surroundings, leave. Don't prop open self-locking doors. Lock your door and your windows, even if you leave for just a few minutes. Watch your keys. Don't lend them, don't leave them, don't lose them, and don't put your name and address on the key ring. Watch out for unwanted visitors. Know who's on the other side of the door before you open it. Be wary of isolated spots like underground garages, offices after business hours, and apartment laundry rooms. Avoid walking or jogging alone, especially at night. Vary your route. Stay in well-traveled, well-lit areas. Have your key ready to use before you reach the door, home, car, or work. Park in well-lit areas and lock the car, even if you'll only be gone a few minutes. Drive on well-traveled streets with doors and windows locked. Keep your car in good shape with plenty of gas in the tank.
A bystander is a person present at an event or incident but is not involved. Bystanders first must notice the incident taking place. Obviously, if they don't take note of the situation, there is no reason to help. Bystanders also need to evaluate the situation and determine whether it is an emergency or at least one in which someone needs assistance. Again, if people do not interpret a situation as one in which someone needs assistance, there is no need to provide help. Another decision bystanders make is whether they should assume responsibility for giving help. One repeated finding in research studies on helping is that a bystander is less likely to help if there are other bystanders present. When other bystanders are present, responsibility for helping is diffused. If a lone bystander is present, he or she is more likely to assume responsibility. In a situation potentially involving sexual assault, relationship violence, or stalking, approach everyone as a friend. Do not be antagonistic. Avoid using violence. Be honest and direct whenever possible. Recruit help if necessary. Keep yourself safe. If things get out of hand or become too serious, contact the police. The College of William and Mary put together a playbook of advice for bystander intervention. These tips may be useful. Step in and separate two people. Let them know your concerns and reasons for intervening. Be a friend and let them know you are acting in their best interests. Make sure each person makes it home safely. Use a distraction to redirect the focus somewhere else. Hey, I need to talk to you. Or hey, this party is lame. Let's go somewhere else. Evaluate the situation and people involved to determine your best move. You could directly intervene yourself or alert friends of each person to come in and help. If the person reacts badly, try a different approach. Recruit the help of friends of both people to step in as a group. Divert the attention of one person away from the other. Have someone standing by to redirect the other person's focus. Commit a party foul if you need to.
If you or someone you know is a victim of stalking or dating, domestic or sexual violence, or if you witness an act of violence taking place, there are ways to step in to stop these terrible actions. Remember, rape, sexual assault, and physical abuse are never the victim's fault, no matter where or how it happens. Your campus administrators, area police, and community resources are available to help you. Together, we can stop these acts of abuse.